you guys? Welcome back to As Told by Kenya. We have some topics I want to come and discuss with you because at the end of this day, this is a Kenya Has Thoughts. So it's time for Kenya to talk about her thoughts. First things first, I gotta pour some out for Nick Saban, baby. I gotta pour some out for Nick Saban. Nick Saban has announced that he is retiring, and it is a sad day in my home. We love Nick Saban in my home. If you do not know, I am a proud graduate of the University of Alabama. When I was at Alabama, so many good moments are surrounded by going to football games and being able to go see Nick Saban do what Nick Saban does best. When I was at Alabama, we won 2 national championships. I will never forget the night we beat Georgia in the national championship when Tua came in for Jalen Hurts and us being down. That was just a moment in time. You just had to be there. And you know, I'm at a place, this is so dramatic. I'm at a place where I'm glad it happened. Like, I'm not sad. Nick Saban needs to enjoy his older years. I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy that I was at the University of Alabama when Nick Saban won 2 national championships. I am happy that I was able to go to Bryant-Denny on Saturdays and see Nick Saban coach and see the players and just see so many great moments. So many great moments are surrounded by Alabama football. I stand with Alabama football till the wheels fall off. So I don't know who's going to be the coach. I don't know how good we're going to be, but I'm riding till the wheels fall off. But that was just really, really sad. And it's not sad because it's done. It's just sad because so much of my 20s and my young adult years and leaving the home is surrounded by Alabama and Alabama football, and we all just love Nick Saban. I remember my sophomore roommate. This is kind of me being mad over spilled milk. My sophomore roommate never went to class. Love her to death. If you're watching this, love you to death. She never went to class. She never did anything. She was basically living on our living room sofa. But when she did used to go to class, she used to always talk to the bus driver. The apartment we lived in obviously had a bus that took us to campus, and she used to always talk to the bus driver. And they had this dinner for some of the faculty at Alabama, and Nick Saban was going to be at the dinner. Why this girl got to meet Nick Saban? She ain't never went to class, ain't never did nothing, but because she was chatty with the bus driver, he invited her as a +1 to the dinner, and she got a picture with Nick. I was so mad for that. I was happy for her, obviously. She was really, really sweet. Like I said, love her to death. But she got a picture with Nick, and that always got me a little bit peeved. I said, girl, you don't even go to class. You don't even go to class. But anyways, that is my Nick Saban story. I am so sad to see Nick Saban go, but I am happy that Nick Saban is going out. You know, he's going out good. We went to the playoffs. It was fine. It was good. I'm not mad about that he's leaving. I'm just happy that everything happened. And you know what? It's all for the best. Let's move on to stuff being too expensive. Can I complain? Stuff is too expensive. I don't even want to heat my house properly because it costs too much damn money. I don't even want to heat my house properly. I got this blanket on because I'm cold. I don't even want to heat my house properly because it costs too much damn money. My insurance went up $100 because it could. My insurance went up $100 because it could. My mortgage payment went up because my homeowner's insurance went up. Like, we at a place where you gotta shop around to 4 different places to find something, because people will literally cheat you out your money. If you have not tried, if you have homeowners insurance, car insurance, or any type of insurance, if you haven't shopped around in a while for a better rate, please go do it. Please go, because more than likely you getting scammed down. I went to the grocery store just to get Nicks and Knacks. It wasn't even a full grocery shopping day. And I left spending more than $100. Nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. I think everything I bought, I done ate by now. I think everything I done bought, I done ate by now. And it's just gone. It's just gone. You can't even want for nothing. In the distant future, I do eventually want to get a new home. Distant future. I be looking at where I want to live, like where I see myself living. I can't afford nothing. I can't afford that. Not comfortably. What happened to the days of affording things comfortably? I already told y'all this. When I go back to the places I used to live when I was little, back in Charlotte, the amount that these houses cost now, they just didn't cost that much just a few years ago. Don't piss me off. Everything is just pissing me off. And stuff is just getting more expensive because it can. Because it can. Peanut butter is expensive. Like, and so like I'm at this place because fast food is also expensive now. Meals that used to cost me $5.25 are now costing me $7.10. Yeah, I know. I keep score. And so like now I'm doing this thing where like I eat lunch in the house now, which like going out and eating lunch had always been like a good moment for me because I always eat dinner in the house. I try to eat dinner in the house 5 times a week. And so I always ate dinner in the house, so I'm like, ooh, I'm going to eat lunch outside the house because it's kind of cheap. Like, you can just go get a quick little lunch. Can't do that no more. Can't get a cheap little lunch no more. So now I'm back to eat. I got to eat lunch in the house now. Because, like, the thing is, you just don't know if things are ever going to change, and you got to save your monies. You got to save your money. You just got to be out here spending. And the thing is, there's certain things, like, I don't want to cut cost on. So, like, sorry, I'm always going to have an expensive skincare regimen. When I go on vacation, I'ma always live it up. So like there's certain stuff I'm not willing to cut corners on. So I have to cut corners where I'm willing to cut corners, and that's on like food at home and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't want to live like, I just want to live. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this anymore. Oh my goodness. Just being an adult is so hard. It's just so hard. And nobody told me it was going to be this hard. So many decisions have to be made. And I just feel for the people who are in worse situations than me. And that's how I don't understand why stimulus packages aren't being thrown around. Because there are so many people who are being left for dead and they have no hope. It's not that they don't work. They're working. You can't make ends meet. They have to get child care for children. You have to feed. I couldn't imagine if I had to feed children. I couldn't imagine. I don't think I would be able to do it. Like, I would have nothing for myself if I had to feed and clothe and house children. Like, I can sit up here and be cold as shit because I'm just me. But could you imagine if I had like toddlers or an infant around? I gotta kick their heat up. Like, they can't be cold. They can't be cold. I can eat anything for lunch. Like, I don't care. I'll eat anything. Like, I might have, like, I don't know, I'll throw something together. But children don't want no shit you threw together. Like, they want a meal. They want actual food, you know? And then they deserve to have luxury. So if they do want to go out and have, like, you know, a little fast food here, like, they deserve that. Like, taking children out to eat. Do you know how much it costs to go out to eat? Like, it's just all too much. It's just all too much. Let's move on to celebrity mess. Jonathan Majors, I've already broken a 2024 rule, and that was to not talk about Jonathan Majors. I've already broken my rules. But Jonathan Majors, leave the Kings, Coretta and Martin name out of your stupid mouth. Leave their names out of your mouth. You are not going to do Coretta. When Jonathan Majors talks about being held down, he is not talking about wanting a partner who is his equal. He is not talking about wanting a partner who is intelligent, who, you know, challenges him, who corrects him, who wants to see the best for him. That is not what he is talking about. He is talking about hold down in a sense that if I do 3 years in jail, you're going to be out. On the next day, you're going to be right there with me. That's what he is talking about. He is talking about someone who doesn't give him opposition, someone who doesn't give him pushback, someone who will allow for him to do anything he wants to do, and they will sit there and they will justify it. They will be okay with it. He wants someone who will submit to him and who is just okay with anything he does, and they're always going to stand next to him. That ain't Coretta Scott King. That ain't Coretta Scott King. you need to do your homework on who Miss Coretta Scott King is. Coretta Scott King was a civil rights activist before she met Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King has been vocal about the fact that Coretta Scott King taught him a lot of stuff. And the biggest thing is, as we roll upon Martin Luther King Day, Coretta Scott King is a huge reason why we have Martin Luther King Day. Coretta Scott King fought for that. She didn't fight for that because her husband. She fought for that because she understood what Martin Luther King means to the civil rights movement. Coretta Scott King was doing civil rights work. When she talks about the legacy of Martin Luther King and she builds upon the legacy of Martin Luther King, she is building on her own legacy. That is what she is doing. She understands that her and Martin Luther King were a unit. They believed in the exact same thing. As I said before, she was a civil rights activist herself. And so when she fought for Martin Luther King after Martin Luther King died, and how she built upon the work she created and he created, and as she would fight for there to be a Martin Luther King Day, all of that was a part of her legacy. She understood that Martin Luther King was a part of her legacy. It was not her just doing it, my husband, It's because she understood the civil rights movement. Coretta Scott King was a woman who was learned. She was a woman who was smart. She was a woman who was progressive. That was Coretta Scott King. So for you to be in some fucking bullshit and want to pull the King's name out your ass, the King, no, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do it. Go read a book. Go read up on Coretta Scott's legacy and leave their name out of your mouth. And definitely, I think we need to do a wellness check for Megan Good anyway, because I don't understand it. Somebody has to literally explain it to me like I am dumb. Why Megan Good would be at the court hearings of her man domestic violence case. It is one thing to love somebody in the dark. To know your man got a case against him and things ain't looking great. He unemployed, and you love him in the dark. At least I could give you a sense of self-preservation that you won't let the masses see that you a dummy, that you falling behind a fool. I could at least give the fact that, okay, there's something there because there's some self-preservation. But the fact that you and your mama showing up to court for this man, you standing by this man, you just met this man. You just met this man. And so, there's no self-preservation in this. There's no care for self in this. And that's why I think we need to do a wellness check, because it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. I don't get what you getting out of this. You get what I'm saying? So, to compare Megan Good to Coretta, so to do that, you're comparing yourself to Martin for what? To what? All you did was do a few scripts, and you're comparing yourself to a civil rights leader, and then comparing Megan Good to another civil rights leader. Y'all lost your mind. Y'all, I wasn't going to talk about him in 2024 because I'm above it. I rise above all the haters' word to Candy, but I had to, because no, not this close to Black History Month, you won't. Let's move on to the Cat Williams and Shannon Sharpe interview. If you want to know my opinions on some of the things Cat Williams said in his interview, you are going to have to go join my Patreon, because I did do a whole breakdown on some moments from the Cat Williams interview. But I think the thing I want to talk to you guys about today is the Shannon Sharpe of it all. I'm tired of people doing jobs they're not good at. Shannon Sharpe, watching that Cat Williams interview, the thing I could not ignore was how bad Shannon Sharpe is at interviewing. Now, keep in mind, I did not know Club Shay Shay existed until this Cat Williams interview. So you do have to get on me for being unlearned, for not being aware. So he could have more interviews that are done properly. But I don't Cat Williams was saying certain things, and it would be a good interview would push back on some of the things Cat Williams was saying, try to get more detail, try to get more understanding, and that just wasn't what Shannon Sharpe was doing. And so I'm sitting here like, this isn't you're not an interview. What is this? What are y'all tuning in? I ask this all the time sometimes. What do y'all be watching? He's not even interviewing properly. And then when Cat Williams comes in with all of his chaos, there's a time for you to pivot to match Cat Williams' chaos, and like I said, ask him certain certain questions, try to get understanding on certain things. And Shannon Sharpe just doesn't. He just does. He's still looking at his foolish ass cards, trying to get some understanding. I'm just like, what is this? What is this? The only reason why that interview was worth a damn is because Cat Williams was up there just telling the business, but that's it. Like, it blew my mind how bad of an interviewer Shannon Sharpe was. And then it gets into the Tory Lanez Meg questions. Why are you asking Cat Williams questions about Tory Lanez and Megan? Like, what, huh? Tory Lanez is in jail. And Meg Thee Stallion is doing all types of sponsorships. She's actually performing. What productive conversation could be had asking Cat Williams about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez? Like, what could come out of that? Huh? And then especially because in said interview, he's talking about how he doesn't want to be messy. When it's time to talk about the men's, he's saying he doesn't want to be messy. He's just like, ain't nobody gonna want to come up here. He doesn't want to hit on certain conversations because he doesn't want to be messy and he doesn't want to piss people off. But you want to hit on Tory Lanez and Meg? Okay. And then the conversation about Jonathan Majors, him being like, I think Jonathan Majors can recover. You don't know Jonathan Majors. You don't know what Jonathan Majors did. So you sitting on your platform being like what you think Jonathan Majors should be able to do and you hoping that Jonathan Majors can recover is, once again, like I said, bad journalism. It's bad. It's not a good look. You taking up for a man just because he a man? You don't, And that's so, like, I'm going to be so honest with you. The thing that pissed me off the most about that interview was the Shannon Sharpe of it all. I'm just like, this is bad interviewing. Why the fuck do you need to ask Cat Williams about Jonathan Majors, another person who already had their day in court? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Once again, bad journalism, and sorry, I hate hackery. I'm sorry. Speaking of hackery, Dave Chappelle, come up with something else. Let's move on to something else. Speaking of hackery, the Golden Globes happened. We have moved beyond comedians needing to host award shows. Award shows as they exist need to be like changed and dismantled. But we have moved beyond needing to put two people from two different walks of life on stage to have to present something so we all can sit here and be uncomfortable as shit. I feel like we don't get enough good moments to justify the cringe. When we get two people who would never hang out with each other ever a day in their life, they have no comedic chemistry, we put them on stage to present a award, neither of them really can read, so they're reading the teleprompter like weirdly. And it's just like, what are we gaining from this except making the viewer at home really, really uncomfortable? The good moments hardly come. So we move beyond comedians needing to host. And you remember when LL Cool J hosted the Grammys like 8 times in a row? The reason why that was because it's not offensive. Are you going to get great moments? No, but you're not going to get bad moments like the Golden Globes. So like, I just think that's what we need to do. We need to get a nice neutral who is going to read the teleprompter, who's going to be kind to people, who's going to root people on, who's not going to be a hack. And you know what? We go about our business. I have literally no thoughts on the Golden Globes. What's your thought on the Golden Globes, Kenya? I have none. I have no thoughts on the Golden Globes whatsoever. People got their things, and that is what it is. I don't got nothing to say. Last thing, and I'm going to leave you on this one. I do not believe the Gypsy Rose stuff is going to end well because the internet is the internet. And the internet has this way of finding something that is new and shiny, Gypsy, and they have this way of becoming uninterested in it. But when they become uninterested in it, before they throw you away and discard you, they have to beat you down a little bit first. And we are going to see that cycle happen to Gypsy. If you ask me, you got people who are interested in Gypsy. Gypsy's doing interviews. Gypsy's this, right? And then we're going to have this cycle where people are going to be like, actually, Gypsy's a villain. And you're going to have people who are just going to come at Gypsy only because they don't like the attention she's getting. So it's not rooted in anything actually, like any actual like politic or thought. They're just doing this because they're doing this. And then they're going to come at her and things are going to get bad. Gypsy's going to try to defend herself. Gypsy's not going to be able to defend herself well. And then that's when they'll discard her and throw her away. And that will be the cycle of it. And so I just don't think this Gypsy thing is going to end well. I think Gypsy needs protection. I think Gypsy needs to be surrounded by people who are invested in her well-being, because that's the big thing. No one on the internet is actually invested in Gypsy's well-being, as no one, you can't be because you don't know this person, right? So no one is invested in her well-being, and it can only end badly. That's my thoughts on Gypsy. Anything else? I think that is it. I think that is it for Kenya Has Thoughts this Sunday. I will see you guys next Sunday for another one.